Welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm participating in a YouTube hop with a card hopping group from Facebook. And what we do is challenge each other each month to a YouTube hop where we have to stick to a theme and have a choice of two different techniques. So this month our theme is where I live, and the technique is either pigment powder or chalk. So I chose pigment powder, and I'll be doing that later. Where I live is St. Louis, Missouri, and one thing we're very famous for is our world-class St. Louis Zoo. So I may be a little biased though, because I did work for the zoo for 7 years, and also I have been visiting it and very proud of it ever since I can remember. So I'm starting my card by doing a sentiment from Lawn Fawn, and it's from their Critters on the Savannah set. It says, "I'm wild about you." I just used some black soot stress ink and some clear embossing powder. Then I'm using my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink to stamp the inside sentiment on my card, and the sentiment comes from the same stamp set, and it says, "Have a roaring good birthday." I'm trying to restock all my birthday cards because I think I've used them all up. The great thing about these challenges is that it gets you to try new things and maybe come up with new ways to do things. So I have never used pigment powders with a stencil before, so I'm going to try it with stencil and also as watercolor. And I don't think I've ever used watercolor with a stencil before, so we'll see how this goes. And I'm using Nuvo Atlantis Burst. I think it's the first time I've used it, so it's a lot more green than I thought. I thought it would be a little bit more pale blue than it is, and a lot darker than I thought. But it turned out okay. It's obviously a lot different than when you use the blending brushes with ink. So if you want to try a different background, this gives you a little bit different way to use your stencil. And I'm using a Lawn Fawn cloud stencil. The next method I'm going to do is use my pigment powder, and this is Nuvo Shimmer powder, which is the same I did before, but this color is Lilac Waterfall, and I'm just spraying it with water. And you can see this one has a lot of different colors in it. So I'm trying to get those colors on the flowers, and I tried dipping them in to see how that works. And sometimes it picks up more than one of the colors, sometimes it just kind of all blends together. But it does make the flowers shimmery. And the flowers I cut out of watercolor paper, and I used Lawn Fawn hibiscus dyes, and I just used the two smaller flowers for my card. Next, I'm going to color some leaves that I cut out of watercolor paper, and those were cut with dyes from the hibiscus die cut set and the tropical leaf die cut set. Or you may have dyes if you have the Toucan Do It set and have the die cuts for that. And I think some jungle ones may also have some leaves or hibiscus that you can use. And I tried a method of just sprinkling it on the leaves. I was trying to see if I could get more of the variation of color and painting it on, but that seemed to spread it out even more. So then I went back to just the dipping method like I did earlier. And this pigment powder is called Falling Leaves. I think it may have been a special release, so I don't know if this color is available anymore. But there may be other colors, and there's other companies that make pigment powders, so you could probably find something out there that's a green pigment powder. I decided my zoo needed a sign. I'm going to put cats from around the world, which might tell you that you're not in one continent. However, if you didn't know that, it may not look like a zoo, so I thought we needed a sign. So I cut out some watercolor paper with my Build a Camp set dies that had a sign. There may be sign dies with other stamp sets that you could use, or you can just cut out two rectangles. And I'm using my distress ink as watercolor, and I'm using tea dye. So I use that to color the sign and the bottom of my card. Now I decided that the sign wasn't dark enough to show up against the dirt. So I got my vintage photo out and painted over the sign with that, and also use my fan brush to splatter on some of the vintage photo on my card, and that gives it some texture. It looks kind of more like dirt instead of a light colored sand. Then I just use my black pigment pen to write on my sign. Now, technically at the St. Louis Zoo, this area is called Big Cat Country, but that wouldn't fit, so I just put Big Cats. Off screen, I glued my card panel to my card base using the Nuvo Deluxe glue, and then I just used that glue to put my sign down in the corner, and then I glue on some of the flowers and leaves with Nuvo Deluxe glue. Now, technically in Big Cat Country, they each have different species have their own little habitat, and it's mostly grass and some bushes, and some of them have pools, but I kind of just put them all here together since that's what fits on the card. And then I do use my foam squares to pop up the cats. Now the cats I stamped with Lawn Fawn stamps with black ink on Copic friendly paper, and then I colored them off screen. And of course the lion came from the Critters and the Savannah stamp set, and the next two kind of in the middle there, those came from the Toucan Do It, so they're supposed to be jaguars. And the one on the bottom came from Critters on the Jungle, and I think it's called a leopard on the stamp set. But really what the difference in cats are, they have those round circles that you see that are empty. Those are called rosettes. So jaguars and leopards, all type of leopards, have that. But the difference is jaguars have dots inside the rosette, which these stamps don't have. So I added some dots on ours, on the one on the right, to make it a real jaguar. Now cheetahs, we don't have any on my card because cheetahs are not in Big Cat Country, because cheetahs would be scared whenever the lion or the tiger roars. I don't have a tiger stamp, and also I didn't think it'd fit, so I didn't put one on here. Now I did color one of the leopards as a snow leopard, so just with gray colors, and the others two I did kind of orangey color. So the one on the left will be a leopard. I'm going to say it's an Amur leopard because that's one of the kinds that we have at our zoo, and Amur leopards are very endangered. And the really cool thing is we have a young female that just had twin girls, and I can't wait to see them. If you go to their website, though, they have pictures and videos of them, so you got to check them out. We have twin girls, and they're just a few months old. You've probably noticed that I really love Big Cat Country at the zoo, and I love visiting. So anyway, leopards are one of my favorite animals, especially snow leopards, and now Amur leopards, especially when I go see the babies. And that was one of my favorite parts of the job, was giving tours of Big Cat Country, because I worked in the education department. And the coolest thing is when I gave a tour at night, when we had to take a flashlight out to go look at the big cats, because they're mostly nocturnal. And also it's not as hot, so they might actually be moving around, which the jaguar was moving around so fast we couldn't find her with the flashlight too well. So that was really cool. Also, I did put a lot of hibiscus, but we are not known for hibiscus in St. Louis because it gets cold in the winter. However, we do have a horticulture department that does have a lot of hibiscus around the zoo. So we do that. And also for enrichment, sometimes they do put flowers in there for the cats to smell. So one time when I was at the zoo, the keepers had put orchids in their habitats to give them something new to smell and check out. I'll put a list of all the products that I use in the description below, and some of those will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that those links generate, and that helps support my videos and my website. And I do appreciate that if you go shopping, if you can use those links. Also, I did mention this as a hop, so if you look in the description below, I'll have a list of all the different people participating in the hop, and hopefully you'll get some good ideas of cards that you might be able to make and how to use pigment powders and chalk. I, for one, don't really know how to use chalk, so I'll be interested to see what everyone else comes up with. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and if you're not a subscriber, I'd really appreciate if you can subscribe to my channel. For those of you that are subscribers to my channel, I want to thank you so much for your continued support, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.